Oh, the corgi. Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a corgi, and we're here for an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And Danny, I'm glad to see you're not completely frozen in up there. I'm North Dakota, South Dakota, so cold. Anyway, today we're going to talk about something that Danny may find useful. She may have already been doing it. And this is the idea of taking a nap with your dog. I have not been a person to nap much in my life. I usually just keep running and then collapse. And that's true for everyone in my family. Although even my mother, she's so exhausted now. She runs around so much that she dreams of a little 2 o'clock nap for half an hour with her schnauzer. And it's interesting to me because when I was working at the boarding school with my ex-husband 35 years ago, he took a nap every afternoon, which we later discovered he was having trouble staying asleep at night. So he was like literally exhausted. So he took a nap in the afternoon, which was a bummer when he had to coach soccer and stuff. And then he'd come back and take a nap at 4 or 5 when that was over. Anyway, he loved cats. And then we got the corgis. And his dog, Molly, was also a big napper. He used to lay on his back on the sofa with his head propped up with horrible snoring, and Molly on her back on top of him like an otter with her little feet like this and her little back feet just limp. And as he breathed, her little feet would go. And prior to having these corgis, he used to try to take a nap with our pet rabbits, and Lily was his favorite bunny, or she liked him. I don't know how he felt about her, but she often would interrupt their nap with a bite, so that wasn't really as good as having Molly Corgi on his lap when he was napping. And both he and Molly became really addicted to these naps, and I think for really 90% of the time that they were together in their lives, they took these naps every day. Now, one of the most famous nappers in the history of napping is Ben Franklin. He actually never slept. He took little short half-hour naps throughout the day, or whenever he felt like he needed a nap, and then he'd wake up. And this was an interesting thing to do. He was such a smart guy. I mean, he is like the Leonardo da Vinci of the Americas, because he invented so many things and had so many good ideas. And part of that may have been due to the fact that he napped for half an hour throughout the day and night, because what that does is put you in a deeper state of relaxation, and you cannot use your creativity and your intelligence if you don't get to that theta brainwave state. All of us walk around in the alpha and beta brainwave state most of the day, thinking and doing and using our forebrain, but the theta brainwave is deeper. And in fact, to learn, you need to be able to engage the theta brainwave state, which is something I always use the example of my calculus teacher throwing chalk and demeaning us when we were trying to do problems on the board in front of the class. I mean, as if that's not bad enough, then to have him saying bad things about you, that does not put you in a state of relaxation. You are not in a theta brainwave state, and therefore you can't learn, and therefore most of the problems I did on the board, I probably will never be able to do again. And I'm not that bad at calculus, but now I am. But anyway, that's not a good way to learn, and that's why a lot of us, you may have had a teacher in your time of learning that had sort of a very calming voice, maybe a southern accent, which can be calming for some people, or just a really particular way of doing things. There was a teacher I had in high school who taught German, French, Spanish, and Latin. She was not calming, but just very direct, short, clear sentences, a big space between them. And that kept you very relaxed. You were never going to be surprised as long as she was teaching. She was great. So that applies to our naps. So I think that because he was napping so much, and our most inspirational time of day is when we first get up. Sylvia Plath did 90% of her writing early in the morning. Several other famous writers mostly wrote in the morning. And I have a friend now who is an artist. She's been her whole life. And she's getting up at 5 in the morning spontaneously because she's now like 59. but she paints in the morning. And she hasn't painted in years, and she's doing beautiful paintings of flowers and birds and things because she has that inspiration in the morning. See, Danny says she and her dogs do nap. So being able to recapture that by taking a nap in the afternoon and then waking up refreshed with that inspiration is really a gift. And being able to do that with your dog is even better. Now, let's look at Japan. Japan is a very industrialized country. They are very focused on trying to improve productivity, even in ways that we in America would think was... So a lot of these big companies, and some in America do this too, they have a built-in nap time or a nap availability in the middle of your very busy day so that you can go and just get away. And especially companies in Japan sometimes have it so that you can nap with a cat or a dog. I know that my niece, she studies productivity a lot. I mean, she's an industrial engineer among her many talents, and they needed an animal in her office because things were getting tense. And she tried to convince them to have a cat, but they didn't want to do that. So they ended up having Steve the hamster, who had a little work desk and stuff. He was very cute. But having that animal in the office does help people relax. It's not as good as a nap at 2 or 3 o'clock. I mean, if you think about it, nearly everybody is really exhausted at 2 or 3 o'clock at work. You know, that's when we start eating the stuff we shouldn't eat. That's when people make mistakes at work. And that's a big problem because we need a nap. And certainly in a lot of Spanish cultures, we get the afternoon siesta. Sometimes that's quite a bit longer than you might think was helpful. I mean, that can be like a 2-hour break in the day. But you just need a little nap. And if you are lucky to be able to do that, like if you're a teacher, I know plenty of teachers that come home and don't stay late to do their work at school, come home, take a nap, and then wake up and do their work at home. Because it's exhausting dealing with kids all day. And that's what a lot of teachers do. So taking a nap with your dog can really improve your bond with him and your connection with him because animals are more naturally in their theta brainwave state most of the time. And to be next to us when we're in that dreamy, nappy state is very comforting and happy for you and your dog because now you are at the same level as your dog and you can connect that way. See, Sean says napping is good. Napping is awesome. Some of the most famous people in the world have been big nappers. 2 p.m. is Danny's normal nap time. That's good to know. See, it is the approved napping area of the day. So I encourage everyone to try taking a nap with your pet. If you are not a person that normally does that, give it a try. I know a lot of people that nap with their cats purring next to them, a lot of my cat ladies. And sometimes that nap may be sitting on the sofa, reading a book, and then just kind of dozing off for 10 minutes or whatever, and then waking up and then continuing through your day. And certainly a lot of us have jobs where we're really busy and really stressed and we can't just sneak into a room and take a nap. But even when I was working in a really busy hospital, I was able to go to a bathroom that I had to find on the 3rd floor that nobody used and turn the lights off and just stand in there and meditate for 2 minutes, just deep breathing, focusing on my breath, doing some heart hugs. And even that brought me back into that brainwave state of theta so that I was able to go through the day without being as stressed and upset. They also have a greenhouse at that hospital that I would go in sometimes because nobody ever goes in there. And of course, what's in the greenhouse? Plants and therefore much more oxygen. So there was an extra benefit from going in there. Plus I could sit down and in the bathroom I had to stand. So, you know, even if your day is really terrible and hard and stressful, which many, many, many people's are, you can at least find a time to just go focus on your breath and just be in a dark, quiet place in your body and in your mind. And that's almost as good as napping. So everybody enjoy a nap with your pet when you can, even if it's only on Sunday afternoon. See, we're putting Tristan to sleep just thinking about it. So we will be back, not tomorrow, maybe Saturday. We're having a tremendous amount of rain here on Saturday. I may be out trying to manage snow dams. The snow has melted in a town 8 miles to the east, 4 miles to the south. Not here, not 1 mile north. There's still tons of snow on my roof. We're having warm weather on Saturday and rain that might melt it. Biscuit, are you ready for a nap now? I have a lot of clients coming today. There won't be any napping. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day and take a nap.